In a world where refrigeration and modern appliances are the norm, many traditional Romanian communities still rely on ancient time-tested methods of food preservation that have been passed down for generations. From bustling kitchens where families gather to prepare the harvest, to quiet cellars stocked with carefully preserved treasures, Romanians have mastered the art of storing food in ways that are both ingenious and sustainable. These methods aren't just survival tactics. They're a way of life rooted in creativity, tradition, and practicality. While many of us worry about freezer burn or power outages spoiling our food, Romanians have developed techniques that allow them to preserve food for years without a single watt of electricity. In this video, we'll explore how they do it and how you can incorporate these methods into your own home, ensuring you're prepared for any crisis. The art of canning preserving Romania's harvest. Canning is a cornerstone of Romanian food preservation, especially during the long, harsh winters. Whether it's jars of vibrant pickled cucumbers, plump peaches, or rich tomato sauce, canning is a time-honored tradition in Romanian households. Families often dedicate entire weekends to the process, turning their kitchens into bustling hubs of activity. The method involves carefully sterilizing jars, filling them with prepared fruits or vegetables, and then boiling them in large pots to seal in freshness. This process eliminates bacteria and ensures the jars remain shelf-stable for years. Many Romanians proudly claim they've opened jars of preserved tomatoes or jam that tasted as fresh as the day they were canned, even after a decade. Canning isn't just about practicality, it's about flavor. Unlike frozen produce, which can lose its texture and taste, canned goods retain their rich, natural flavors. A jar of pickled cabbage, a Romanian staple, can turn a simple meal into a feast with its tangy crunch. And there's something deeply comforting about opening a jar of sun-kissed peaches in the middle of winter, evoking memories of warmer days. But the benefits of canning go far beyond just taste. Canned goods made at home are free of preservatives, artificial additives, and excessive sodium found in many store-bought options. By controlling the ingredients, you ensure that what you eat is natural, wholesome, and tailored to your dietary needs. For families looking to reduce their intake of processed foods, canning is an excellent way to preserve nutritious meals. Vegetables retain most of their vitamins and minerals during the canning process, especially when they are prepared at their peak freshness. Fruits, when canned without added sugars, provide a healthy alternative to many store-bought snacks, making them ideal for children and adults alike. Additionally, home-canned foods reduce the risk of foodborne illnesses when done correctly, as the high temperatures during the canning process kill harmful bacteria and pathogens. For those with specific dietary needs, such as low-sodium or gluten-free diets, canning allows you to customize your pantry without sacrificing flavor. Canning is not only a health-conscious choice but also an economically savvy one. By preserving fruits and vegetables during their peak seasons, when they are most affordable, families can save significantly on grocery bills. In Romania, where many families grow their own produce, canning ensures that the surplus harvest doesn't go to waste. The initial investment in jars, lids, and equipment pays off quickly, as canned goods can last for years without additional costs. Compare this to buying fresh produce year-round, which often comes with inflated prices during off-seasons. For example, a single bushel of tomatoes purchased at a summer market can yield dozens of jars of tomato sauce or diced tomatoes, providing months of savings compared to store-bought options. Home-canned meals also save time and money in meal preparation. Instead of spending on pre-packaged or processed foods, having a pantry full of ready-to-use canned goods makes cooking faster and more cost-effective. A jar of canned beans or soup can transform into a hearty meal in minutes, making it invaluable for busy households. Ash preservation, an ancient Romanian secret. Imagine storing eggs and root vegetables in ashes. Yes, the very same ashes left behind from wood fires. In traditional Romanian villages, this practice has been used for centuries to keep food fresh. Ash, with its alkaline properties, creates an environment where bacteria can't thrive, making it a natural preservative. Eggs are gently buried in containers of clean, dry ash where they can last for months without refrigeration. The same method is used for root vegetables like carrots, potatoes, and beets, ensuring they remain firm and fresh throughout the winter. Think of it as nature's way of giving these foods a protective coat, shielding them from rot and pests. Romanians are meticulous about the type of ash they use. Only ash from untreated clean wood is suitable. This knowledge, passed down through generations, ensures that the food remains safe and delicious. In fact, the method is so effective that eggs stored this way have been known to last up to a year, maintaining their texture and flavor. Fat sealing nature's airtight container. In Romania, fat isn't just a cooking ingredient, it's a vital preservation tool that has been used for centuries. Known as conservarea in untura, or preservation in lard, this method involves submerging cooked meat in melted fat to create an airtight seal. The solidified fat forms a protective barrier against bacteria and oxygen, which are the primary causes of spoilage. This technique is a cornerstone of traditional Romanian food preservation, especially in rural areas where refrigeration wasn't historically available. The French may call this confit, but Romanians have been using this method for centuries, particularly in rural areas where refrigerators were a rarity. Even today, families who raise their own livestock rely on this technique to ensure nothing goes to waste. The process is simple, yet incredibly effective. After cooking meat, be it sausages, pork, or even duck, it is placed in a clean jar or container. Melted lard or tallow is poured over the meat until it is fully submerged. Once the fat cools and solidifies, it creates an oxygen-free environment, preventing bacterial growth and spoilage. The sealed container is then stored in a cool, dark place, such as a pantry or cellar. This method not only preserves the meat, but also enhances its flavor. The fat locks in moisture and infuses the meat with a rich, savory taste. Over time, the preserved meat becomes even more tender and flavorful, making it a prized addition to Romanian meals. Practical benefits of fat sealing: extended shelf life. Properly sealed and stored, meats preserved in fat can last for months or even years. This makes it an ideal method for long-term food storage, especially in areas with harsh winters or unreliable electricity. No refrigeration needed. Unlike modern preservation methods, fat sealing requires no electricity, making it a practical solution for rural households or during power outages. This was particularly important in historical Romania, where access to refrigeration was limited or non-existent. Flavor enhancement. The fat acts as a natural marinade, intensifying the flavors of the meat. This method is not just about preservation, but also about creating delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Open a jar of pork preserved in lard, and you'll find meat that tastes as fresh and juicy as the day it was cooked. Nutritional value: lard and tallow are rich in calories and healthy fats, making them an essential energy source, particularly in times of scarcity. These fats also help the body absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K, adding nutritional value to preserved meals. Fermentation is another cornerstone of Romanian food preservation, with dishes like sauerkraut or varza murata and pickled vegetables known as muraturi taking center stage. These tangy, probiotic-rich foods are not only delicious but also packed with nutrients and natural preservatives. Fermentation involves submerging vegetables in a salty brine, allowing beneficial bacteria to transform the food over time. The process requires no electricity, just patience and careful monitoring. Romanian families often prepare large barrels of sauerkraut, which can last throughout the winter and beyond. The health benefits of fermented foods are undeniable. Rich in probiotics, they support gut health, boost immunity, and even improve digestion. It's no wonder this ancient method continues to thrive in Romanian kitchens. Fermentation is one of the oldest and most cherished methods of food preservation in Romania, practiced long before refrigeration became commonplace. Known locally as murare or fermentare, this method transforms ordinary vegetables into flavorful, long-lasting staples that are rich in probiotics and nutrients. Fermentation is not just a preservation technique, it's a culinary tradition deeply rooted in Romanian culture, passed down through generations. The process of fermentation relies on naturally occurring lactic acid bacteria to preserve food. Vegetables are submerged in a salty brine where beneficial bacteria convert sugars into lactic acid. This creates an acidic environment that inhibits the growth of harmful bacteria, keeping the food safe and extending its shelf life. Commonly fermented foods in Romania include sauerkraut, pickled cucumbers, and even fermented beets. These staples are often prepared in large barrels or jars, stored in cellars, and consumed throughout the winter. Once fermented, these foods can last for months or even years without losing their flavor or nutritional value. Fermented foods are nutritional powerhouses. The fermentation process enhances the bioavailability of vitamins and minerals, making them easier for the body to absorb. These foods are rich in probiotics, which support gut health by promoting a balanced microbiome. A healthy gut is crucial for overall well-being, as it strengthens the immune system, improves digestion, and even enhances mental health. In Romania, fermented foods are often served alongside heavier meals, such as pork or sausages, to aid digestion. The natural acidity of these foods complements rich, hearty dishes while also providing a refreshing tang that brightens the palate. Root cellars, or besuri as they are called in Romanian, are an enduring symbol of self-reliance and ingenuity. These underground storage spaces have been used for centuries in Romania to preserve fruits, vegetables, and other perishables during harsh winters, long before the advent of modern refrigeration. A root cellar is more than just a practical storage solution. It's a vital part of Romanian culture, reflecting a deep respect for the land and its seasonal bounty. Root cellars function by harnessing the natural coolness and humidity of the earth to create an environment ideal for preserving food. Typically built underground or partially submerged, these spaces maintain a stable temperature between 0 and 10 degrees Celsius, or 32 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, year-round, regardless of the weather outside. The humidity levels, usually around 80 to 90%, prevent stored produce from drying out, while the cool temperatures slow the growth of bacteria and mold, keeping food fresh for months. In Romania, root cellars are often simple yet effective. Many are dug into hillsides or located beneath houses, ensuring they remain cool and dark. Wooden shelves, sandboxes, or straw-lined bins are used to store produce like potatoes, carrots, apples, and cabbages, each carefully spaced to allow proper airflow. Some families even partition their cellars to separate fruits from vegetables, as the ethylene gas released by ripening fruits can cause vegetables to spoil more quickly. What makes root cellars so effective? Well, let's see. First, temperature regulation. Root cellars naturally maintain consistent temperatures even during the sweltering heat of summer or the freezing cold of winter. This stability prevents the spoilage caused by fluctuating temperatures in other storage areas. Second, humidity control. The high humidity in a root cellar keeps vegetables like carrots and beets firm and fresh, preventing them from shriveling or becoming rubbery. This is particularly important for root vegetables, which thrive in moist environments. Third, protection from light. Darkness slows the deterioration of stored produce and prevents sprouting, which is common in light-exposed potatoes or onions. And finally, energy efficiency. Unlike refrigerators, root cellars require no electricity, making them an environmentally friendly and cost-effective storage option. Economic and environmental benefits are also noteworthy. Cost savings. By storing their own produce, Romanian families save money that would otherwise be spent on purchasing imported or out-of-season vegetables at higher prices during winter. Waste reduction root cellars help prevent food waste by keeping surplus harvests fresh for extended periods. Even vegetables that might be considered imperfect for immediate consumption can be stored and used later. Eco-friendly. Without the need for electricity, root cellars reduce the carbon footprint associated with food storage. They are a sustainable alternative to energy-intensive refrigeration. Salt curing, or serare as it's known in Romanian, is one of the oldest and most reliable methods of food preservation. Long before refrigeration, salt curing was the go-to technique for extending the shelf life of meats, fish, and other perishable foods. The process is simple yet powerful, leveraging the natural properties of salt to keep food safe and flavorful for months, or even years. In Romania, this tradition is deeply ingrained, passed down through generations as a practical and essential skill for surviving harsh winters and unpredictable harvests. The science behind salt curing is straightforward yet ingenious. Salt draws out moisture from food through a process called osmosis, creating an environment inhospitable to bacteria and microorganisms. Without moisture, bacteria cannot thrive, which prevents spoilage and extends the food's shelf life. Additionally, salt has antimicrobial properties, which further inhibit the growth of harmful organisms. There are two primary methods of salt curing. First, dry curing. This involves rubbing coarse salt directly onto the surface of the meat or fish, covering it completely. The salted food is then stored in a cool, dry place where it naturally dehydrates over time. Second, brine curing. In this method, food is submerged in a saltwater solution, known as brine. The salt penetrates the food more evenly, making it a popular choice for preserving fish or pork cuts. Both methods are commonly used in Romania, depending on the type of food being preserved and the desired outcome. The ingenuity of Romanian food preservation is a testament to the resilience and creativity of its people. From canning and ash preservation to root cellars and fat sealing, these methods demonstrate how tradition and practicality can ensure long-term food security without modern conveniences. In a world increasingly reliant on technology, these techniques offer valuable lessons in sustainability and resourcefulness. Whether you're preparing for an emergency or simply looking to reduce waste, adopting these Romanian traditions could transform your kitchen and your pantry.